Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is DJ George Chuck. The kids call me Dad. My wife calls me husband, sometimes Jorge. That has nothing to do with what I'm about to remind you of. Ladies and gentlemen, the Advocacy Day for NAACP Mississippi State Conference is coming up February 6th. February 6th. Today is the 4th. 5-6. That's Thursday at 1 p.m. We're asking you to meet all of the concerned citizens and the members of the NAACP at the state capitol, 400 High Street, Jackson, Mississippi, on the South Steps. It's Advocacy Day, 1 p.m. Be there. Make sure you share this. Make sure you tell somebody, tag somebody, send a text reminder the night before. Take off on your lunch. Be there or be square, or just be there and be out, or be talked about. Ladies and gentlemen, we got an awesome episode. We're talking public safety in Jackson. Our sister Nsombi Lambright-Haynes will be talking with us about community solutions and the upcoming community session, the discussion on public safety in Jackson, Civilian Review Board proposal, CCID, Lord, the CCID, and so much more. February 11th, 2025, 6 p.m. at the Lodge right there in the footprint of Jackson State University. That's 1072 J.R. Lynch Street, Jackson, Mississippi, hosted by the Mississippi NAACP Criminal Justice Committee in conjunction with One Voice. Ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. Let's get the show started. Play the drum, he froze. Good God Almighty, have mercy, Lord. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Frozen with Mac. Let it go, let it go. All right, you're not frozen now. I'm not sure what you got going on over there, but we appreciate all of our folks for tuning in to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. Mac, are you able to get? All right, I want you to go out and come back and all right. I want you to go out and come back in, Mac. You got a delay, brother. We're gonna let him go out and come back in so that he can give the disclaimer. But in the meantime, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got a few people on YouTube, several people on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. And then we have some folks over on the Black or No Chaser Facebook page. Thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in. Please leave something in the comments to let us know where you're coming from. For all of our Jackson people, we want you to pay attention to these two events. Our guest tonight will be able to talk more about this. As a matter of fact, you know what? Since Mac, that Mac go. I was about to cut his segment. I was about to cut him off. Big sister Nsombi. I wonder what Nsombi was like back in the day, in the gangsta Omicron era. I wonder what she was like. Let me go find some of Nsombi Neos. That's who we go. Hey, in advance of alumni weekend, we're going to interview people's Neos and then bring them on after the fact. Mac, are you there? Maybe not. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna give them a chance, but without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. This lady always deserves applause. She is a wonderful person. Been a part of everything inside of the state of Mississippi for quite some time, ladies and gentlemen. Nsombi Lambright-Haynes. What's up?
Hello, good evening.
Hello and good evening.
Lord, look at Max still trying to come in.
Oh, little tink tink.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Nsombi, what's up? How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm sleepy. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, why do I always let Mac talk me into coming on this show at 9? You know it's past my bedtime.
Well, you got you
And
know
look at
that
him.
Mac
Evidently it's past his too. Look at this.
his laptop done went to sleep. So look, let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I know that you have a list of things that we need to be able to communicate to our audience.
Yeah.
And you know, give us an overview of, you know, why One Voice is getting involved and staying involved and staying committed to not only Jackson but to the state of Mississippi, and then, you know, why we're talking about public safety right now as a always critical issue in our community.
Absolutely. Yeah, Chuck. So, one of our target areas is public safety and really redefining public safety. And, for years we've talked about criminal justice reform,
Right.
and that was always our thing, right?
That's a hot button
Reforming,
topic.
yeah, reforming the criminal justice system, and and that's played out. We're tired of talking about reforming a system that was never meant for us. And there's no justice in the criminal legal system, right? And so we're talking about public safety,
Right.
right? And when we talk about the legal system, people really are talking about being safe in their communities. So instead of talking about criminal justice reform, we shifted it to start talking about public safety, and that encompasses everything: jails, prisons, police, everything.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about on next Tuesday. And in that, we're talking about the CCID district. I was a plaintiff in the NAACP lawsuit along with 5 other people in Jackson. That lawsuit was dropped, was dismissed without prejudice. Maybe about 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's Mac. Hey, Mac, how you doing?
Good, Nishime. How are you?
I'm fine. I didn't let Chuck talk about you.
That's good. I know that you wouldn't do that.
That's right. I
I
told him to
know.
stop talking. I told him he better stop talking about you.
That's right. As bad
Yep.
as baby.
That's okay. You know it. But anyway, like I was talking about
Good job.
the CCID district. So yeah, the lawsuit was dismissed without prejudice. So, we can bring it back again with different plaintiffs Judge Wingate basically said that NAACP didn't have standing. Don't know what that means, but I guess once we find, people who have been directly harmed by Capitol Police,
that ain't gonna be hard.
Not at all, because there have already been filings against Capitol Police at this point.
Right.
We'll be able to do another one again. But yeah, that was dismissed. And so we need to talk about that in community, because a lot of people have been asking, why did y'all drop the lawsuit?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing that we want to talk about to community. And then the second thing we want to talk about is this new proposal that we've been working on. One of your brothers, CJ Lawrence, started working with the Public Safety Task Force before he left Jackson.
Right.
3 years ago, I think. Because he's been gone about 3 years, I believe.
Yeah. When his mom got sick and he became the primary caregiver, he made his exit from Jackson to back home in Hattiesburg.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he and I, along with several other people, sat on a public safety task force at that time in the city of Jackson. And at that time, we developed a policy around bringing forth the identity of police officers involved in shootings of civilians. And our next task was to develop a policy around establishing a civilian review board in Jackson. And so CJ and several other folks actually started drafting that policy then, but it just never went anywhere. And so now we're back at it again, trying to get it off the ground again. And we think that we have something right now. Chief Wade is in agreement with it. There are a few kinks we have to work out with the city's legal department, but we think we have something now that hopefully can get voted on by the city council and pass.
Okay. So what are the things that you want our community members to possibly read or become more familiar with in advance of the meeting?
I would really love for them to look at models of civilian oversight in other cities, so that they could come and be prepared to talk about what they would like to see in civilian oversight in Jackson, and what it means to work to hold law enforcement accountable and to work hand in hand with law enforcement. Because one of the things that we've been explaining, and we're sitting at the table with law enforcement working on this.
Right.
And so we're trying not to make it an adversarial thing, because part of this is to help JPD right now, because we're not at the table with Capitol Police, because they don't answer to community, right? They answer to the governor.
Right.
So part of this is to help them look good too. Because if you have a civilian review board and you have that level of accountability, this helps the police department look good.
Right. And let me ask you,
we help you.
So the situation. All right. So just I guess a clarifying point. We do have some sort of community policing relationship with Jackson Police Department, right?
Who?
Maybe like organizations who are leading this work, and possibly even like some, like the interactions between police and youth in schools, where they're doing some type of, community service activity, officer friendly type of situation. Are those still things that happen inside of? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the city of Jackson Police has still some form of community policing, and they believe that without the community, they aren't able to do their jobs correctly.
Say that again. You said without community, they are not able to do their jobs, correct?
Correct. Right. Without community, police can't do their job.
Correct. Yes.
All right. But that's not the case with CCID because they answer only to the governor, and we're looking for a civilian review board so that we can have some insight and input into the operations and the day-to-day of CCID.
Yes, but let me be clear.
Okay.
The civilian review board is right now only in Jackson Police Department. It's only City of Jackson.
Okay.
We have not entered the discussion or any type of agreement with Capitol Police.
Okay.
That's the Chief Wade discussion with what is his name, Luckett, their police chief, to see if we would be able to receive their complaints. This would only be we would only receive complaints about Jackson police officers at this point.
Okay. So is there any way for Jackson residents to get involved with, like the CCID police, the Capitol Police?
The last time I heard Sean Tyndall say something about it, he said something about something online on the Department of Public Safety website. But I haven't gone on there to see what that mechanism was. But he said you could go online to get in touch with them if you needed to get in touch with them about a complaint with Capitol Police.
Okay. I'm gonna look into that and see if we can pull that up just so we know what it looks like. Right. Mac, are you able to jump in? I know you probably had some questions. One, because I'm looking at it only from the standpoint of me doing business in Jackson, and then Tougaloo, and friends living in Jackson, but you own a business and live in the city. What are your thoughts and questions as it relates to this particular topic?
So I think the relationship with Jackson Police Department is, we know folks. Let's say this: we know officers on the ground in both agencies, for Jackson and Capitol. We know folks. I think the relationship with JPD is going to be a little bit easier because of its connection to the city and willingness to support. I guess a lot of times folks forget, when they get upset and be like, "Oh, we need this and need that." We talk about the bad apples as we talk about the issues that we're trying to make sure that are held accountable and supportive, right? Yes, we do have a crime problem in the city of Jackson, and we are not saying that we don't want folks to do their job. We're just saying we want folks to be able to, what's being said, is we want everybody to be treated respectfully and treated a certain way. And nobody rights abused, and also have an opportunity to be able to speak and be heard, and to review and see if things were correctly followed. Because a lot of times, like you said, community policing, they need the community. They ask questions to the community about what was seen, how this happened. They are the first ones to call. Sometimes they get a police warning. Hey, you might not want to go down there because such and such. So definitely, it's a community effort. Like I said, each one of us got folks and friends or family that's in law enforcement. So you definitely want everybody to be safe, but you want everything to be done in a respectful, organized, legal fashion, and get community input. We know we need a strong force. We want to support the force by making sure that everything is being done possible to be able to assist them. Community policing work two ways. Say, for instance, if you got a good review board, the review board might know where other resources are that the police department can use for programs with youth or engagement, or even like the CIT or behavior health, especially with the number of folks suffering from mental health growing. We know that's a major issue for folks that don't know or understand how mental health works. If someone is exemplifying schizophrenia and you run up and start yelling at them and trying to use tactile type of way of controlling the situation, it's gonna explode, and you're gonna be saying, well, I gave him directives, but that person had three other people talking to them. They didn't hear what you were saying. So being able to review something like this and point out the mistakes that you made and how this could have been better, because that person was going through a manic state then. 3 months from ago or 3 months later, that person is a high functioning person in society. They was at a break point. And that person that responds to that person standing out there cussing at cars on the highway plays a lot of part in that person getting help and getting therapy. And the review board can help be able to give feedback and educate and give pointers. So I think it's very, very important for us to be able to have a say in as much as possible in the city of Jackson and beyond. So that's my 3 cents.
Well, I think that I can agree with your sentiments. The only thing I push back on is I don't like the police department to be called the force. There's only one force, and that should be limited to Star Wars. May the force be with you. All right, so look, we got a question coming in.
You've been hanging around Sabir too long. I'm surprised he's not in the comments.
He might be.
That's a dad joke. You know what? What the question?
I made the Nsombi laugh. We got a question from our sister Marta. Marta is asking, which cities would you say have good models of civilian oversight? Atlanta, Miami, Denver. She threw out those options. Where can citizens educate themselves in what a good model might look like? Yeah,
I'm gonna say out of the 3 that she just named, Denver would probably have the best, and I'll add to that not Knoxville. What's the other place in Tennessee?
Nashville.
Thank you. I was like, it sounds like Knoxville. Nashville has a model that we studied, and Nashville is closest to us in terms of budget wise, because Nashville also does not have an independent monitor. Denver has a person who is like a director of a department that can go in and investigate. We ain't got no money like that in Jackson, right? New York City also has a whole office of civilian review.
I learned about that on Law and Order.
Yeah. Okay, right. They got a whole office with staff and everything. We ain't getting that. And so Nashville has the closest model that we would be able to replicate the quickest, with actual civilians that are appointed by the council and the mayor in from community in the wards, who would be able to get to work in be able to have a little cooperation with the police department and have some investigative powers. Yeah,
it's interesting for the comparison with with Nashville being one of those music cities, and I would definitely say that Jackson is a music city. I think that if we wanted to copy the right cat, I think Nashville is a great cat to copy, especially from the tourism side of things. I know that Visit Mississippi, Visit Jackson has been doing a number of things to bring more attractive acts and artists to the city. And a lot of people will say that public safety plays a big role in that. I would also like to add to the conversation that public relations plays a big role in that. And we've got enough news, enough social media outlets, and I'll speak most specifically to a video. It's a YouTube video. It has millions of views, where this gentleman, I think he might be British, and this video, he goes to the parts of Jackson that scare people, that me and Mac used to go throw parties in and stuff, and do voter registration. And he's talking to probably some of the dudes that the judge probably said you either gonna go to jail or you gonna go to Tougaloo, and then they ended up at Tougaloo. And then they graduated, with degrees and things like that, because that's what people do when they have a chance to better
Stop
themselves.
talking about yourself, Chuck. Don't be talking about yourself like that.
Hey man, look, God bless those that get a second chance and make something of it. But the to the PR point, it's like we got, and this is like community organizing 101. You got to own your own narrative, right? And I think that Jackson has done a not so good. Let me just speak freely, frankly, just done a terrible job of not owning its own narrative,
Right.
and also not lobbying and posturing themselves from the standpoint of daily news. And then the some of the stories that make it through the internet, we have to take a page, and I'm not giving this man any credit, but what I'm saying is like we have to over communicate about the good parts of Jackson. We have to over communicate about the good parts of Mississippi.
Yeah.
And by over communicating and attempting to balance out some of the things that make their way, then we cut off some of the people that are our neighbors that get on social media and they say ain't nothing to do, or I'm sick of these, these YNs, doing X, Y, and Z. And then you've got, that's the only thing that they talk about on social media because they like negative Nancy's. So I'm adding to your agenda that we need to take a look at what does like a people positive campaign look like. Like, how can we know that we don't do everything right. Like, we're not perfect. Like, Jackson ain't Jesus. All right.
Good one. That's a good slogan.
Yeah. Jackson ain't Jesus, but at the end of the day, Jackson might fall short, but we got grace. And how can we run a people positive public relations campaign where we attempt to balance out some of the not so likable things that happen, but there are so many other things that go unreported, or they don't get as much shine as all of the negative stuff. So that's just as Max said, my 2-3 cents, whatever.
Yeah, yours would be 2 cents.
Yeah.
2. Trey, 2.
Yeah.
That's a t-shirt. Are you Jesus or Judith?
Are you Jesus or Judith?
Not Judith, but Judas. Are you Jesus or Judas? Judas.
Judith is a bad name in TV shows. Like, it's some bad Judiths.
It's, but it's a term, they got the Karens, and so like JM came with the Mildreds. It's some Mildreds. Those.
Hey, hold on! Don't you do Mildred Sanders now? That's a good Mildred right there.
No, not that Mildred. I'm not talking about a real Mildred. I'm just saying that the folks that you're talking about, the negative Nancy's, and if the term today.
Yeah, Missy Mildred.
I think that like they got a thing called cruising on Capitol, right? Why is this important? Because how's this cruising where you bring a lot of black folks on Capitol Street? How is the engagement between them and Capitol Police, right? Those are things where you can do a study and just watch, be a fly on the wall, and just see the interaction. Because I think about New Orleans. Now, they ain't gonna let you get crazy, but New Orleans know, and I'm quite sure somebody has taught them, no matter who the new officer is, that we want these folks to have fun. We want tourists to come to Bourbon Street. We want them to enjoy themselves. If you started messing with them for every little small infraction, people are going to stop coming and spending money.
That's right.
And we able to pay and balance this, and pay for that, and pay for this, pay for that, because people come and spend their money. They feel safe. They feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
Right. And if you up here messing with people, I'm not saying, again, you're not just saying folks are committing crimes, but you know, you understand now. I tell people now, once that season is over with, you kind of rolling the dice, but you just be cautious. But I would look at the numbers also. We start talking about Nashville. What's the
Yeah.
population of Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What does their police force look like? What do their mayors look like, right?
Mhm.
Is that mayor, is the majority of the folks in Nashville fall into what demographic? What kind of relationship does that mayor, chief, and governor have, right? When you have those type of things connected, and then you look at the city of Jackson, they're like, why we can't get on one page? Well, clearly, just speaking, about the elephant in the room, our governor and mayor is not on the same page because the governor created a whole law enforcement agency within the capital city and cut the city out, right?
Right.
And because some of those folks are former JPD, Hines County folks, they trying to create a way to work together, but it's because the leadership is not on the same page and don't have the same understanding, ideology, or respect for the other. So that makes a world of a difference. But as community, as us, what are we going to do? And you start talking about safe space. So I was talking to one of our friends who folks live off fortification, and he was like, how he explained the area. Like his mom lives here, and then right behind there's an alley. There's like several other houses. The uncles sit out under the tree. I said, people don't understand that's probably one of the safest spaces off of that area
Shit, it
because
sounds like I want to
they
go hang out there right now.
where everybody
Yeah.
know each other, right? And it's one of
Yeah.
those things where everybody's sitting out there talking, they under the tree, and as soon as you pull in that, I went to pick him up before and be like, everybody stop moving, and everybody look and try to see who is that,
Uh-huh.
right?
Neighborhood watch.
And it just you have folks that are either family or became family that lives in the same area,
Yep.
and then they look out for each other.
Yeah.
You might not be able to control what happened on the other two streets, but that area right there, that alley,
Right.
you can control that because they are on the same accord and same page. Um, those are the things I definitely think works. Right, we share around here. Why this is important because when we work together, when we want to hold folks accountable, we want to bring folks accountable. It's easier to organize and get folks to come out and support an initiative when you know the people who live around you that are affected by the same things that you are affected by. If I got to
Yeah.
go across town to Old Ken to find somebody that I'm cool with, say, hey man, let's go down there and tell them about this. Like, man, I don't have that problem over here. So, but if I know the people in my area and we all have the same problem and we're on the same page, then we can create a certain level of accountability and support. Um, those type of things that can help change a whole area around just by having that type of relationship. But
Matt, you mentioned cruising on
yeah,
Capitol.
yeah.
It you mentioned New Orleans. I would like to bring
Mm-hmm.
into the conversation cruising the coast. Cruising the coast has been I don't know how many years, but
Mm-hmm.
cruising the coast, it's car culture, classic cars, right? So I would
Mm-hmm.
imagine like cruising on Capitol would be a lot of classic cars that are done up. Like, you got your big rims, you got your candy paint, you might have some knock in the trunk. Um, the thing I think, we talk about copying the right cat. I don't know what it looks like for cruising on Capitol to take a page out of cruising the coast, where because cruising the coast, in my opinion, is not welcoming to uh the black folks, and that is the reason that Black Beach, or I don't know whatever name they're gonna call it now, but that is the reason why Black Beach had an opportunity to um make its debut years ago, and it still has some impediments in front of it. I'm not sure if it's going to happen again. But what I'm saying is there's an opportunity for tourism right there. We have enough pavement. Now we don't have beach in Jackson, but we got enough pavement. And majority of the time, the folks that are on cruising the coast and Black Beach, they're there for the eateries, the car show, the concert. We know that Jackson can facilitate a good time because it does so every weekend, every home game for Jackson State University. What does it look like for one of those not home game weekends for the Tigers? We have cruising on Capitol that is a kind of a weekly thing, right? That could feed into something that could bring tourism dollars into the capital city. But it would, like you said, it would have to be a conversation, like a long-term planning type of deal where your city officials and state officials are, no disrespect to Tater Tots, Tate Reeves.
Right. And see, to me, that's something that, and see, to me, that's something that we could make happen here.
Yes.
More smoothly than it has been going on the coast, because
100%.
even look at Black Beach weekend on the coast, where they've been getting denied permits for the past couple of times, and have been going before the city council and going before the board of supervisors,
right?
Because they've been denying their permits, and they've been like, but you've been giving the cruising people permits. We doing the same damn thing. Excuse me. We've been doing the same thing. And you giving them their permits. We doing the same thing. So why we can't get our permits? Because we Black. And so we can get that done here, with no problem. Because
absolutely no problem.
State homecoming weekend, we're used to partying like that here.
And I love the opportunity to bring some of these things into light. I think that on the tourism side, because we talk about bringing money in to the city.
I got a question too.
Let's do it. What's up?
And I got a question too. Just I guess we would just go with me.
Oh yeah, come on.
Is there a beach in Moss Point?
There's a riverfront. And Moss Point is not set up for the magnitude of Black Beach.
I know, but would Moss Point be more friendly and receptive to do something like Black Beach?
I think that it is positioned to be able to do so. The new mayor, Billy Knight, I'm actually supposed to be doing some podding with him sometime this year. I mean, it's worth a shot. The thing is, I think in terms of manpower, Jackson would be a better situation because
No, I'm not saying to compare. I'm asking questions in reference to the cruising on the coast and they're denying Black Beach, right? But it goes back to again having power over our economic. We are constantly trying to put money into an area that said that we don't want your money. Well, that's fine. I go next door to an area that it might not be a beach. It might be Black Riverbank. I don't know what the hell you might call it.
Well,
you might change it.
That's my point with Jackson. So if you look at Gulfport, Biloxi in terms of like we're comparing population and population density.
Yeah.
If you compare Gulfport, Biloxi to Jackson, it's similarly situated. You have a large coliseum or convention center. You have enough hotel and beds to be able to house folk. Restaurants where they can go and eat at. Moss Point and Pascagoula don't even have that.
Right. And here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the comparison. I guess I'm really talking about the coast. I'm just talking about how things have been done because people want to go to the coast, right? But the coasts have grown from tourism and from not federal, but state dollars, right? That's how that Biloxi Gulfport area has grown. And I'm just saying it might be something smaller, but if we intentionally done something in the black area of Moss Point or Pascagoula to intentionally grow it to something larger, right? And like, so yeah, and also I know Jackson is different, but I'm just saying for down in that area, we trying to force the money to people that don't want it. It'd be easier to duplicate that in the Jackson area, but I'm just saying if we wanted to still do something on that end of the
Oh,
state, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
It just by having control. I always talk about people control two things, right? The dollar in your vote,
yeah.
and um, and that makes a difference because we always go to where it's nice here, but it's nice here because other funding has been put there intentionally because majority of the time, being honest, the people that live there and are residents there don't look like us. So it looks that nice and they got that much stuff because it don't look like us. And they don't want you there. So we just got to take our dollars to those places. And I was going to say something else about the review board.
Mhm.
I think that this conversation a lot of times happen with administrations, right? I remember years ago they were talking about a protocol that Grandmaster Horton, when he was chief, went to folks and told people like, listen, if you get pulled over by an officer, this is what you do. You do this, do this, do this, and people are like, okay, all right. And then you get pulled over by that officer, and you do exactly what chief told you to do, and then the officer looks at you and takes it as you being a smart ass because you put your hands here and you did this, you did exactly what you was told. Because there's such a disconnect between that street officer and the higher ups and admin. And so I think for a review board is actually getting feedback and understanding and how those officers that work the beat from that rookie to that senior officer, how do you see a review board? Do you think that is beneficial to you or is not? And why not?
Hmm.
To help deal with some of that implicit biasness that would take place once a review board is in place. And when you can show them how a review board can be beneficial to them and helping them with their day-to-day process, then it'll be more receptive and be more user friendly. Because we all done went somewhere, 9 times out of 10, a fast food place where somebody didn't want to be at work and they didn't want to do the shit that they supposed to have done.
They didn't want
And
to
because
fix your wings burger.
they didn't want to do the shit, they half-ass did it or didn't do it. Right? So you gotta have a buy-in from those beat officers. And
Blocking the
to
Popeyes. What you want?
why you here? Don't you see we ain't got shit? Just like they ran out of here.
It's gonna be about 15 minutes on that spicy.
We out of chicken. You out of what? We out of chicken. We ain't got no more batter for the chicken. You ain't got no more batter. How the fuck you run out of batter?
Like,
But
who the hell was over ordering?
somebody didn't want to be at work. They wanted to be at the Jackson State homecoming game. Somebody made their ass go to work because they had to go to work. They half-ass did their job. So if you don't have buy-in from folks, it's going to create a difficulty, and then that hurts us, right?
This
The
is true.
situation we just got finished dealing with right now with the Water Association in rural Hinds County. The water was dropped off to the Water Association on Friday. They still ain't passing no water out to these folks. So there's no buy-in of I want to make sure I get this water out, and even for some of the folks in that area, right? So it has to be a buy-in of understanding that I live here too. That's usually one of the main things of why I can see the benefit, or I have a person that's had this interaction or encounter or emergency. It usually take a personal testimony where people can say, I see the benefit of this, that, and the third, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's a great idea. I definitely would like to research more models of predominantly Black cities with the type of setup we have and how it worked.
Yeah.
And, that makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
So with that being said, Nsombi, like after folks, and I'm gonna throw the graphic back up on the screen. After folks come to the community session, which is February 11th, 2025, that is a week from now, 6 p.m. at the Stringer Grand Lodge right there on J.R. Lynch Street, close to Jackson State University. Once people come to that event, What are the next steps following the community session? Like what do you want people to be able to do and walk away with, and what should they be ready to do after the fact?
So several things. So one thing is we want to gather community feedback. So we're not there to tell community, hey, this is set in stone. We're telling you what we want, and this is it. So
Right.
we are there to receive feedback. Number one. Number two, we're hoping that some sort of proposal will go before the city council sometime within the next month or two. We do have a draft that's being floated around now, and we will have that next week for community input and review. That draft is being looked at by city legal now, for some things. They're looking at things like, oh, can community people see police records, stuff like that. So they're looking at stuff like that. And we're saying, hey, you look at these models of civilian review boards that have been around since 1975.
Right.
This is not a new concept. We
Right.
didn't just invent civilian review boards. They've been
Yeah.
around since the 60s. So go and look and see what they did.
Do your research too, city attorney.
So, so that's what they're doing now.
That's good.
And then also with the CCID piece, of course, that's never, that's not going away anytime soon.
Right.
And so, we're going to be asking citizens to help us monitor that activity, to help us hold Capitol Police accountable, because we don't have a mechanism to hold Capitol Police accountable. Mac, like you said, we do know people who are Capitol Police, right? That we can call and say, hey, officer so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. But we don't have a councilman or a so-and-so to report bad actors, okay? We don't have that mechanism with them. So we are looking for a way to do that if it doesn't end up being a part of this civilian review activity. And like I said, if this bill passes, that was part of this tax reform bill that passed out of the House the first week of the session, that's going to expand the CCID district in Jackson. So we're going to have people to explain what that's going to mean in Jackson, because we already have judges and a whole separate police department in Jackson right now. Right. And people just need to know, what that looks like. We're about to have a new jail soon.
So we got money to build a new jail?
I don't know if we have money yet, but the supervisors have stopped talking about it.
Hinds County supervisors have ceased their conversation with regard to a new detention facility that'll be inside of Hinds County.
Okay, but they were clear that they have to have a new jail because the one in Raymond is broke down, and they broke ground on one across the street from the youth detention center. Okay, so community needs answers.
All right.
And see, Matt got me up after 9 o'clock talking about this stuff.
You saw the fist.
Community needs
Put your
answers.
hand with your fist.
You see what I'm saying? So people need to come to the table. And Matt, you're gonna have to get them there next Tuesday. Since you got me up after 9 o'clock talking about this stuff, you better bring them next Tuesday, because I'm gonna be mad and I'm gonna be hyped.
You talking about like you are now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This ain't nothing. Yeah. This ain't nothing. Let them not show up. This ain't nothing. Okay.
Yep.
And Chuck, you better be there too, or I'm coming to the coast for you.
Golly, God.
and all them shoes, had them shoes ready, had them pictures on the wall.
Hey, I need to
And
have
you
all
talking
that there.
about who my neophytes, I'm going straight back into GO mode.
Gangster.
I'm taking everything, packing everything up.
Come on.
Me and Chris coming and loading up the truck.
Loading them up. Hold
Chris,
on.
Chris ain't coming.
Hold on, man.
You
Hold
know
on,
Chris
man.
ain't coming.
Hold on,
Chris
man.
ain't coming.
Look.
Chris like, man, leave Chuck alone, man. That's my friend. He go, Chris ain't coming.
Look.
Chris was like, no.
Yeah, hold on, man. Hold on, man. Let me bring the bros up in here now.
Look.
I got 25 years in the frat this year. Like, hold on, man. Look.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Man, I think but getting these folks out, we definitely get the word out, get more people involved, and what the conversation looks like. 'Cause that's definitely something to know. Like, what does it mean when you're talking about expanding?
Right.
You already have run of the city. And what
Right.
else can you but that's again when you have the takeover mindset of, you don't have the respect for the black authority. I said that really, it really became something I talked about a lot when Tony Yarber was the mayor. The Keith Stamps was councilman, and he was the council president. And the executive director from Stupak came there and they were looking for money. This was 2014 for, say, the Broomfield House. And they said, well, we're going to give you this amount. We're going to give you that amount. And they said, yeah, we're going to, the city said, this is the amount we're going to give you to help save the shelter. And that man ran back and looked at them. He said, that ain't what the board asked you for. And Stamp's face and Yarber face looked, and they looked at, I said, white entitlement does not respect black authority. I said, this is a prime example of what I mean by that. White entitlement does not respect black authority. That is not a real authority figure. We don't have to respect what you're saying because I am who I am. And we expect you to do what I ask you to do. So there's no respect for the municipality structure of the city of Jackson to be able to work with them to be able to create. So you just go around them and create what you want and do what you want to do, and you want everybody else to play by your rules you just made up. Right? Don't let's not deal with the rules that have been here 100 years. Play by my rules I just create. These are the new rules. This is what you got to do. But I have no buy-in or input.
I just to add this to the conversation for those of our viewing audience that's still here. The Capital Complex Improvement District, CCID, is what we've been referring to. Has given the Capitol Police nearly triple the amount of territory to patrol through partnerships with other agencies. Now, what does that mean? That means that it went from 8 square miles to 24 square miles. Now, this is an article that I'm reading that was published back in July of 2024.
Yeah, because I was about to say it's way more than 24 square miles.
Exactly. So my point is this. It went from 8 to 24. How much is enough? And this goes to the age old, I guess it would be, tale of conquest. It's like, what is enough? What is enough? Like, how much is enough? Are we hoarding wealth? Are we hoarding land? What is enough?
Enough is the takeover of the entire city. Basically a tri-county model where there's no capital city. Okay. That has basically a tri-county model that's run by the state government. Where there is a county manager in each city, Madison, Hines, and Rankin. Okay, this goes back to Frank Melton, was proposing this back in the day, and various folks have talked about this on and off. That's when enough is enough.
That's the end
Airport is
goal.
run
That's
by
the
the
goal.
state, water's run by the state, all the major utilities is run by the state. That's when enough is enough.
But this is this is very contradictory to the quote unquote Republican tenets of bigger business, smaller government.
Yeah, small
Just for the
government
record.
only works when you're white.
The government is a
For
business.
the record.
Right.
The government is a business.
Right.
I get that.
No, I'm saying right.
Your point taken.
Yeah,
but that ain't what they say.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what it. So, prime example, like one day in the city of Jackson, a white Capitol Police officer pulled over a young, I would say, a young black person who was driving, and they were backed up by a white state trooper, right in the middle of the city. So when I keep telling us, right, is we put entertainment over education. They played chess when years ago when they said we want to give Jackson support by allowing, usually state troopers work the outer perimeter of city limits. They don't work inside of city limits. They work the outer perimeter.
You're right.
That was the first move before Capitol Police expanded from being security from Capitol buildings downtown to
Capitol
actual
buildings.
force.
Yeah.
Correct. But that was the first lingo. So think about the city of Jackson. That's why I talk about Tougaloo. If you want to build something, you got 4 major highways that run right past Tougaloo. You got 220, 55, right? You got 51, you got 49. So now you have folks inside the inner area because that has been given clearance that you can be in the interior of the city limits. So that Capitol Police officer didn't call JPD for backup. He called the state trooper. And if they're closer to the end of County Line, then they're going to call Ridgeland. If they're closer to the end of South Jackson, off of 80, they're going to call Pearl. Right? They on the other end, they're going to call Clinton PD. They are leaving Jackson out intentionally because they are calling the folks that going to be, I guess, on the same page as them. So that's why we got to continue to work together and continue to educate and see things and everything. We need fun and games because reality is real, right? It's something that you gonna deal with and it ain't going nowhere. And sometimes you need an outlet, but we have to be paying attention to the chess moves that
Very
they
much
make.
so.
Because when they move here and you like, why in the hell? Remember when all of us said, why is a tech billionaire buying all this land? Right? Bill Gates. And then it started like, oh. But soon as we say, hey, dancing monkey, and we over here looking at the dancing monkey. We done stopped looking at this man buying the land, and now we over here in our attention span. Now we done went from the dancing monkey to the cat doing something. We're totally distracted and not paying attention to the move.
Absolutely.
To the moves that are being made.
That's right. And one more quick thing, Jackson gave up his Chamber of Commerce. We had a Greater Jackson Chamber of Commerce one time, right? And we made it the Greater Metro something Chamber of Commerce to include Madison and Rankin, right? Once we did that, Madison got a Madison Chamber of Commerce and Rankin got a Rankin Chamber of Commerce.
But you don't have a Jackson.
Oh, okay. But Jackson gave up his Chamber of Commerce. Chestnut checkers. But you made us give up ours. Okay.
We give our power up, right? It's been several situations, and I ain't gonna even talk about other folks. I'm gonna talk about us, right? I was on a panel at Tougaloo, and it was Sister there, and I just really had to have this conversation. Like, you are, person that's high ranking, cover multiple states based in your organization, and we started talking about the demographics of Jackson, and I said, yeah, Jackson's about 85. At this time we say 80-20. And without any influencing, I think that should, fair that they should have representation, that they should have this and they should have that. I said, do you see what you just said? And I had to point out, I said, there's nobody in the room. I said, you are giving away a fictional piece of the pie with no pressure because you're trying to look like you are not like them to the point that you are willing to give away power that you have just to show them that I'm not like you and I have power. When they were talking about creating for the West Rankin Waterway, a committee, you had folks that were there at the city that was willing to say, yeah, we need to create a 7-member board so that would be to govern the water system. It's yours. Why are you entertaining the idea of creating a 7-person committee to govern the water system that at that time belonged to you? You ready to give up your power to show them that I am not like this, and maybe they'll see. That's the part of that they talk about, that in that systematic oppression or things from slavery or whatever you want to say. Is like you just want to constantly prove that I'm good and I'm not like that and I'm here and all this, and at the same time they ain't trying to hear that shit, right? They trying to get over on you and take you, and you give up the power, the little power that you do possess. You give it away. And so the parts that they don't want, fuck it. You don't want this part of this, right? Let's build on the part you don't want. But because we've seen in our past, because that's the part they don't want today. When you turn it around, you start working independently, and you don't need certain things. Now we got to come sabotage it because we need you to need. And
well, there's a quote from brother Fred Hampton that says that unarmed people are slaves, and I'll leave it at that because we're at 1 hour, and I think that we should at all times get to where the money reside, but we may need to come up with some other songs that we could add at the end of the show where we are encouraging people to arm themselves intellectually and to arm themselves with your communication arsenal, and also arm yourself in your household with necessary things so that you can protect your freedom. And though our freedom is under assault in Jackson, is under assault in any community in this country. And I will remind you that you need to watch what you consume. You need to watch what news you watch. And you must have trusted resources that have your best interest at heart, and not fall victim or prey to the folks that will pull the wool over your eyes, come in your living room, piss on you, and tell you it's lemonade.
That's right.
So with that being said, Nsombi, thank you again for coming onto the show. We know that this Thursday we've got Advocacy Day at the state capitol. The press conference is at 1. There are more details. You can go to the Mississippi State Conference NAACP website, and then we got some action for you. We want you to make sure that you are attending the community session. Is there a registration thing, or do people just kind of just show up? You wanted them to RSVP in any way?
No, just come on.
Just come on. So look, we're gonna post this on Black Window Chaser, on Nightcap Knowledge, Mississippi Move, all of our outlets. We'll make sure that Sabir gets this out via text message and email. And we want everybody to show up and be ready. Read something about civilian review boards. Read something about the Capital City Improvement District, and have some type of baseline understanding of, what, or even a vision of what you see public safety in Jackson being, and get ready to participate in this community session. Once again, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to Nightcap Knowledge. And as always, we're going to get to where the money reside, baby, because we're going to hustle. We're going to work hard. We'll have somebody on to talk post Advocacy Day, post Advocacy Day. Not sure exactly who just yet, but for sure we're gonna have somebody on to talk about Advocacy Day 2025, and we will see y'all at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Once again, thank y'all. Make sure you share this with somebody, tag somebody into it. See y'all next week. Peace.